It is preview season here on Armchair Analysis, and today it's all about the TCU Horned Frogs. What can they be? Another year of pretty good success. They were 9-4 last year. How can they carry that over into a favorable schedule and an experienced roster returning? We'll talk about all that and more here next. Again, you're on Armchair Analysis. Welcome in. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. It's Sunday, July 13th, 2025. And I just want to say I appreciate all the support. We've actually hit 50 subscribers gained since we come back with the rebrand. And things are just doing really well, and I'm really, really excited. Makes me happy to know that people are watching and enjoying. And even if there are some comments that, I don't want to say aren't positive, but comments that have a little bit more negative to say, it is what it is. I mean, it's cool. It's cool that people are paying attention. It's cool that people are feel inclined to comment and try to discuss things. So with all that said, I thank you guys. Let's go ahead and get into today's preview. Looking back at last year, again, this team went 9-4 last year, 6-3 in conference. They had an absolutely dominating victory over Louisiana in their bowl game. And it really felt like it was the start of something to build. Andy Avalos came over after losing the Boise State coaching job and really, I think, kind of turned this defense around a little bit. Really took a step forward in their overall production and I guess capability, really might be the word. They just felt more organized, a lot better as a unit. There were a lot of different leaders. Obias or Hodges still there, and then of course Bud Clark in the secondary, who's going to be a bigger deal this year as well. They have a pretty good amount returning defensively, but it's the offense that I'm really looking to this year to see how the improvement is. And it's crazy to say that because a lot of that is improvement by kind of addition by subtraction in a sense. You lose some of your star receivers, but you bring in some guys who are good. You got a pretty good running back room. And Josh Hoover, if he can take care of the ball a little better like he did in the last stretch of the year, this is a team that could go on a run. This team last year averaged 33.5 points per game. That was 25th in college football. They allowed 24.6 points per game. That was 63rd, but it was an improvement. And their turnover margin was negative 0.6 turnovers per game, which is 110th in college football. That number really lies on the fact that they were a little turnover prone offensively. Could have taken better care of the ball. I think that's going to happen this year with just more experience again. This is a top 25 recruiting class. They came in at 24th overall and a number 53 portal class, but they didn't do much in the portal. They grabbed a couple pieces they needed and moved on. And I think that you're going to kind of see that consistency pay off going forward. Looking at that offense led by Kendall Briles, it's Josh Hoover's show, and nobody else is going to take that job away. He does have, I believe, Ken Seals as the backup, who's a former Vanderbilt quarterback. He's going to be, he's capable, if Hoover goes down at any time, to step in and play good football. I don't know that he's going to win them games, but if needed, he's going to step up and be okay. At running back, you got Trent Battle, Jeremy Payne, and then redshirt freshman Nate Palmer is expected to take a bigger role. I think you're probably going to see 3 or 4 running backs on this team this year. This is not a one guy takes the majority of the carries. It's going to be spread out. Everybody's going to get their chance. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. At wide receiver, you got Eric McAllister coming back, and then Jordan Dwyer and Joseph Manjack IV. Manjack coming over from Houston, Dwyer coming in from Idaho. They're high on both these guys, and they should be. It's going to be a fun wide receiver room, and they have other guys. They're probably about 5 deep, I think. They can come out on the field and make plays. But those are the 3 that I think you really got to pay attention to over the course of the season. At tight end, they got DJ Rogers, and tight end position is a little iffy on how useful it will be in this offense, but I think that Rogers is going to be the guy, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there. On the offensive line, you got 3 returning starters, and my eyes currently on redshirt freshman left tackle Ryan Hughes. He's taking over that position. Going to be an interesting move. I mean, if you're putting a freshman, true freshman or redshirt freshman, if you're putting a freshman on the line of scrimmage, especially at left tackle, you're either really high on him or you don't have another choice. I'm going to choose to believe they're really high on him, but it is something I'm watching. It's something I'm paying attention to. See how he plays, especially week 1 when they go over to Chapel Hill to face North Carolina. This team was a number 27 ranked pass blocking group in the country, or in Power 4, I should say. 71.7 PFF grade. Graded a 61.2 in the run blocking category. That's 42nd. This team likes to throw the ball, and they're going to do it. They're going to do it a lot. They're going to be a really good team. I have Josh Hoover as a top 10 quarterback in college football. I think he might be the best quarterback in the state. Bold. You have Arch Manning. You have Sawyer Robertson. You have Baron Morton, and you even have Marcel Reed and Kevin Jennings too. You have those guys at the P4 level, who I think any one of them is really, really good football players. I think Josh Hoover just has it a little bit more than everybody else. Up to you. You guys let me know in the comments. Do you think Josh Hoover is the best quarterback in the state of Texas? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that down below. Moving on to the defense, again, defensive coordinator Andy Avalos is taking over. Well, not even taking over. He's in year 2 now of what should be, I think, a much better defense. An experienced defense. They're bringing back a lot. That's 6 returning starters. Bringing in Ansel Den Mbu from Washington State. Hopefully I said that right. Elijah Jackson from Washington. He's going to play corner. Mbu's going to be on the defensive line. Going to be fun to watch those guys kind of step in and see where they fit and how they can do things. But then you look at the returning leaders, and this is where things are they're returning a lot of production. Nnamdi Obiezor, 81 tackles last year. Devin Deal, 10 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, led both those categories. Bud Clark led the team in interceptions, and they had multiple players with 1 forced fumble. Team that forced 9 fumbles, and I say forced, did not recover 9 fumbles, but they forced 9 fumbles, 10 interceptions. This team is going to work, and I think the experience on this defense is going to work in their advantage to where they are going to, the way I see it at least, this team is going to create more opportunities, create those turnover opportunities, more forced fumbles, get more interceptions, more pass breakups, simply because they're more experienced and that extra experience sometimes can lead to more aggression. I think that's what we're going to see a little bit of. It's still going to be kind of conservative because I think that's just the Avalos style, but overall, I think they're going to be a really fun unit to watch. As a whole, I'm really excited for the secondary. I think that's probably their bread and butter, their strength right now is the secondary. They're going to be able to, I think, play really well in coverage and even in man-to-man situations where they can then bring a 5th or a 6th rusher and get to the quarterback more, create more issues. The more havoc they can create defensively, I think the better off they're going to be. But the Big 12 is wide open, and when you look at this team, the way they are set up, and then you go look at their schedule, it's hard to believe that this team can't make a run. We'll talk about it here in a second. Now, overall thoughts is that this is a team with a high ceiling and a favorable schedule. Can they make the most of it? That's all I have to say, because that's really where I'm at right now. Like, this team is fringe playoff, could be a playoff team if they win the Big 12. Or I guess, I don't know if fringe playoff's the right term, but they are a team that could be in the conversation, and especially will obviously be there if they win the Big 12. It'll be interesting. Now, this is a team that I'm very curious to hear other thoughts on. So I'm going to read you a quote from the Athlon Sports 2025 College Football Preview. Make sure you check that out. And it's probably my favorite. I have a couple that I read consistently. This is one that I like. So this is what the quote was: an opposing anonymous Big 12 head coach or assistant coach. It's crazy to say this about a team who played in the national championship, but this is the season that really matters when it comes to Sonny Dykes. They built depth and recruited to fill every deficiency on that 5-win team. Now what? They have the best signing classes in the league, and that matters because they're also building NIL to keep the kids they want. Josh Hoover's a legit QB and should be even better this year if they can replace the production at receiver and find a better running game. Defensively, they've been developing some studs. This could be a huge year on that side of the ball for them, and they could be a surprise conference title team. Okay, first time I've read that, by the way, and I think that's true to an extent. I don't think it means as much to Sonny Dykes as long as they go 8-4 or better. Now, if they go 7-5 or regress even from last year, then I think we're talking a little bit differently. But I think Sonny Dykes walked into a great situation in 2022 and took this team to a national championship appearance, and they got absolutely walked back off the field and sent back with their tail tucked. 2023 comes in. This is a team that lost a lot, lost really all their best players, and had to rebuild. And they went 5-7. And then last year, they bounced back and they go 8-4 regular season, win a bowl game. This year feels like they're kind of on that trajectory. Again, all the experience returning. They could make a run. With that said, let's go ahead and look at this schedule and get a bit of a preview for the Frogs. Well, I hit the wrong button, so oops. So let's go ahead and get this preview going. So they start with that road trip against North Carolina Memorial Day evening, or Labor Day evening, I'm sorry. They get a light game after a bye against Abilene Christian. Of course, you got SMU's, you got a road trip in September to Arizona State. That's going to be brutal. It's going to be a night game, I would assume, so it's not too hot, but it's going to be still a hot game. A road trip to Kansas State and a road trip to West Virginia sandwich a tough home game against Baylor. They get road trips against BYU and Houston, which BYU looks a lot better now than it did probably 3 weeks ago. Then you close it out with Cincinnati Senior Day. The team over-under sits at 6.5, plus 800 odds to win the Big 12, which is 6th in the conference, and plus 15,000 to win a national championship. This team has that kind of potential. I'm not talking about winning a national championship, but I think they have the potential to win a Big 12 championship. They could run through this schedule, and I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think I see 10-2 at most, maybe an 11-1 in there. But I could also see an 8-4, certainly. A 7-5 even is possible. And it's not so much an indictment on TCU. It's what don't we know about certain teams at West Virginia, K-State, Arizona State, even BYU and Houston. You know, what do we not know about some of those teams? So with that said, let's go ahead and go through game by game and predict this thing. Starting with that road trip to North Carolina. TCU had a home game to open up the career of Coach Prime. They lost that game. In 2025, they have a road trip to face Game 1, Coach Bill Belichick. I think that there's going to be an emphasis on winning this game, simply because you don't want to lose to a big, flashy, hire coach twice in a row. I think they're going to come out and get the job done. They're going to win this game on Labor Day night. Just think they're going to be ultimately the better team, more put together at this point. It's going to be tough for UNC to be ready to go for week 1. They're going to be, because that's just how Belichick operates, and unless there's a reason to believe differently, I'm not going to. But I just think that TCU being a more complete unit and less transfers, less things to integrate over the course of the offseason, puts them in a better position. They'll get the win. They're going to win over Abilene Christian. Don't need to really explain that one. Then you get the SMU game at home. They want this one bad. Look, last year they took that loss in what was kind of an embarrassing fashion. 66-42 was the score last year. I had to double check to make sure I was right. They do not want that again. And not only do they not want that again, that was the worst the defense looked. From there on, they were I thought really good. I thought they were a really good team from there on out. They want it back, and I think they're going to get it back. A home game, they'll get the win over SMU. Take that road trip to Arizona State. It's going to be hot. I don't care if it's a night game. It's going to be tough. And Arizona State has a lot returning, a lot more than people expect. I think ASU gets the job done here. Takes down the Frogs. You come back home, face Colorado, get a win. Then you go on the road to face Kansas State in a game that has a lot of importance. And because I think it sets the tone for the next 4 games. Or, well, for the next 3 games after it. If you win this game, you carry some momentum. If you lose this game, then you got to go back to Baylor. And then you got to go on the road to West Virginia. Then you come back home and face Iowa State. How do you manage all the travel that you're about to do? Well, I think they get the win against Kansas State. I think they'll just be the better team. Again, it comes down to quarterback. Who do I trust the most? When you got 2 defenses that you expect to be good, who do you trust at quarterback to take care of the football? Currently, I trust Josh Hoover a little more than I trust Avery Johnson. You get a home game against Baylor, and it says more about Baylor than it does about TCU. I am really high on this Bears team. Sawyer Robertson is probably one of the more underrated quarterbacks in college football. They have a really good receiving room coming back that's going to be only enhanced by the addition of Kobe Prentice. The defense has been improving consistently under Dave Aranda's rule, and I think that's kind of where we sit with this Baylor team right now. That they also have a schedule that's workable to the point where they can go a legitimate 12-0. I don't know that they're going to, but they could genuinely go 12-0. And that part right there is insane to watch, because 12-0 in the Big 12 probably not going to happen. But there is a team that I believe could do it, and it's the team we're just talking about. So it's a second loss for TCU, but they'll bounce back. They'll get a win over West Virginia and kind of get things rolling again. That's a big-time road win, because this West Virginia team, at this point in the season, late October, early November, going to start to have things figured out. Going to know who they're going to roll with, whether it's going to be Nico Marchiol, whether they are going to be really in the conversation for a bowl game, or maybe they're even in the conversation to take a trip to Dallas. I think that's less likely, but it's not unfathomable in today's world. This is going to be a tough win, but it's going to be a good one, a momentum builder. You get a tough win on the road. You go back home and you get a win over Iowa State. Keep it rolling. You go on the road to Provo, get a big win over BYU, and I think it means a little less now probably, but it's still a big deal. Then you get your road trip to Houston. This is a tough game. I think Connor Wegman is really good, and I think that he's going to match what Willie Fritz is trying to do in a good way. I think they're still a little ways off of what they need to be a competitor in this conference. I've already previewed them, by the way. You can go check it out, but I give TCU a win here. And then you get Cincinnati at home, senior night. Not losing senior day. Putting you 10-2, 7-2 in Big 12 play. And I think that's a realistic opportunity. I think that's a true place to put you in the conversation for the Big 12. I think the issue that lies here is we don't know if SMU is going to repeat last year's success. We don't know about North Carolina, what they're going to be. Colorado, are they going to fall off, or are they going to stay still? Like, somebody has to drop in today's world of college football, especially in this Big 12. Like, somebody's got to fall off, and who impresses you the least? For me, it's kind of Colorado right now. I'm not really loving what they're putting together. And I've doubted them before, so I'm sure that's fine. But like, this is a team that I just don't know where to place them yet. Kansas State's good. I think we know Kansas State's going to be an 8-9 win team. West Virginia, we don't know about. We genuinely have no idea other than just what people are saying in predictions. Iowa State, I think we know. I think that's a 7-9 win team. BYU, we really don't know anything about. Houston, I'm saying they're a bowl team, but that's about the most. And Cincinnati's fringe bowl team. The strength of schedule here, and the lack of knowing the strength of schedule, I think hinders them a little bit, puts them probably in that 15-20 range rather than being in that 13-15 range. We'll see how everything else comes out. Will they make a trip to Dallas? I don't know, because I haven't finished previews. So let me know what you guys think, though. Appreciate it as always for you guys tuning in and watching. Tomorrow we got Minnesota. Really excited about Minnesota. They're kind of a quiet, like, spoiler team in the Big Ten this year. I'm excited for them. And then, of course, coming after that, we got South Carolina. And I'm excited for South Carolina, of course. I mean, you can see what's behind me. I know my Saturday fandom, I can promise you, does not apply here on this show. But, yeah, so it's there. It's the obvious. Not going to ignore it. But, yeah, it's going to be fun. We got a fun couple of weeks coming up, as a matter of fact, as we hit probably the midway point here in July. But I'm just overall excited to carry on and keep going. So thank you all for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. If you're new, especially, subscribe, comment down below, leave a like. All that stuff helps me out. Just gets these videos out further and further, and keeps us going to our goal. We're gonna bump that goal. We'll go 125. I think we can get to 125 by the end of the month. So yeah, hit the subscribe button. Help us get there. Appreciate y'all. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.